We are
Good.
recording. Good evening, everybody, and welcome, and thank you for being here. And we're continuing on with our Mastermind coaching program sessions. And France is going to entertain us tonight with,
Yes.
there you go. And,
My jazz hands, as
and
they're called.
Richard just got here, so welcome aboard, Richard. And France, the show's all yours. Let's
Hey.
take it away.
All right. So, hello, everybody. My name is France Mouton Hetty, and I'm retired from my teaching career as of January 2017. That was actually my third career. But anyways, at this point, what I'm doing, I call that my adventure because, I thought, I'm retired. So do I start another career? But anyways,
What did you teach, France?
Well, I was teaching primarily, for 2 years I taught French, but mostly I was teaching English as a second language.
Oh, really? You taught French?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
A couple years.
Parlez-vous français?
Those. So I had the certification in, so.
All right, I'm going to mute myself. I'll be quiet.
Okay, so right now I call myself a life improvement coach, and I work with primarily my target audience is empty nesters. I don't know why this is still making noise because I've got it on where the red is showing. So ignore those little dings, please. So I support empty nesters and retired women primarily with body, mind, and spirit, because as far as I'm concerned, we are triune beings and we need to address all three to get, the proper balance to get good results of whatever it is we're trying to do. So with spirit, I'm always, for people who watch me all the time, because I do Facebook Lives a lot, I have a page where I do Monday to Friday, I do a message, I pull a card, and I do the reading on that, and I give a little information on the numerology of the day and date every morning during the week. And whatever the card message is, then I, give more information. And one of the things I'm always saying is we need to connect with our divine guidance system, I call it DGS. It's like a GPS, but it's specifically just for us, and it comes from the divine. So whatever we're guided to do through that communication, we want to, try to implement because it's for our highest and best. As far as for the mind, well, we have to have the right mindset. And there's, I don't know if you all know Abraham Hicks, but Abraham Hicks has an energy, not an energy, it's an emotional scale. There's 22 different levels. The very bottom one is like when you're in depression and all these very, very low energy. All the way up at the very top is where you have joy and gratitude and all that. So we want to keep ourselves in the high levels because we attract on whatever it is that we're feeling and emanating. So that's my messaging a lot on mindset. Also, that we have to be careful with our language because we're always listening to ourselves, first of all. And, our thoughts and our words create. So we want to be use high level, high energy vocabulary. And then, of course, the body and our physical being, the part that is the densest, we want it as much as we can to give it the best possible attention so that it will be able to support us in whatever it is we're trying to accomplish. And so there's two parts to that. One of them is moving our body, exercising, and the other part is what is it that we allow to get into our body. And of course, there's three ways that happens: whatever we consume through eating and drinking, whatever we inhale coming in through the nose and lungs, and whatever is on our skin that gets absorbed. And so these are the areas that I like to work with. So I'm going to tell you my background. I was born in Montreal, and back in 1950, and I gave my mom a 24-hour labor. So she's very good to have forgiven me for that, I guess. But I was a one-legged breech birth. And shortly after I was born, the medical doctors told my parents that I would not live past 6 months because my neck, in the gyrations that I did in birthing, I screwed up my neck, and they said there was nothing they could do about it. Luckily, my mom's uncle, Jean-Louis, had just become a chiropractor, and through the grapevine, he heard about this. So he saw me, gave me a couple adjustments, and here I am still. So from that, that led to, well, my dad ended up becoming a chiropractor. I'm from a family of 8 chiropractors. There's only one who's still alive now, but there were 8 at one time. And a few of them are probably because of me and how I was saved by chiropractic. And this whole thing helped me as the benefactor of that. I was very open to other ways, and knowing that not everybody has all the answers, including medical doctors. So we have to be open to other possibilities, other ways. And that's the background from that area. Another big thing that happened to me is at 14 years old, we moved from Montreal to Massachusetts. And as a teenager, it's a very hard time in life as a teen to be having to learn a new language, a new culture, and all that stuff. Every time I'd open my mouth, people would say something like, oh, you speak a different language or whatever. And as a teenager, you don't want that. Now it'd be fine to have an accent, but at that time, no. So I became a wallflower through my high school years. I was a wallflower. And so maybe what helped me and my sisters, because some people, once in a blue moon, someone's going to say, oh, you're not a native English speaker, are you? And that's very rare that people pick it up. It has to do more in the intonation. Sometimes I say things and I don't know, I'm doing it, so I don't know what the difference is, but some people will pick that up, but usually not very often anymore. And I wouldn't have a problem with having an accent now, but back then that was big. So getting through all that was something else I think that helped us, to my 2 sisters and me, to get very, to know that we can go through very big challenges and, come out on the other side, still alive. So that was my moving over here. When I was 29, I started to study astrology and related topics, meaning, laws of the universe and all that stuff. I've been, familiar with that for so many years. And my teacher was a medical astrologer, a retired medical astrologer, and he was an amazing, he knew so much. I wish he had taught us medical astrology, but he said it was too much to do. But a lot of stuff came through, and he'd give us a lot of, good tidbits and things. And I studied with him for 7 years. He had classes 52 weeks a year. I never missed one because what I was learning was just so valuable that was the beginning of my spiritual journey, I guess we'll call it. And then right after I was done studying with him, I got married to my current, this is my second marriage. I had a stillborn with my first, but
wait, stop. Yeah. Wait, hang on. Leighton, somebody's saying they can't hear you. Is anyone else having any trouble? Now remember, everyone's muted, so I can't hear you if you answer me. Is anyone else having trouble hearing France? I can hear her just fine. Leighton?
Thumbs up if you're good.
Leighton, can you hear me? Okay. Well, everyone else is okay. You're the problem. It's your end, I think. Richard, can you hear everybody here? Tim? Okay. All right. So, Leighton, sorry for the interruption, but
okay.
Everyone else can hear okay. So I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Else can hear okay. So, um, so I don't know what to tell you. Everyone else is okay. Um, you know, go out, come back in. You can't hear me either, right? Obviously, you can't hear me. Um, yeah, I don't try going out and coming back in, maybe. I don't know what else to suggest except for me to take a typing class because my error rate is. Um, I don't know what else to suggest. So, okay, France, I apologize for the interruption, but I saw the message he couldn't hear, and I'm just going, okay, wait a minute, wait, we better fact check and make sure everyone else can hear. So
Okay.
I'll be quiet now and carry on.
Okay. Moving right along. So after I was done with those 7 years of studying, I got married to my second husband, my current husband, and we have 2 children, 2 daughters. So at that point, it was raising a family. The stuff was backburnered, and I don't have grandkids yet, by the way. My kids are married, but they only each have a dog. I don't know if you saw the picture. I had a dog here today. Roscoe spent part of the day with me today. He's adorable, but no grandkids. So that's like on the personal level, but career-wise, I started off out of high school, was not allowed to go to college. And that was a cultural decision from my parents and so on. I took a course and I went into data processing, it was called at the time. I became a computer operator, then programmer, then systems analyst. I spent over a decade in that field, got burnt out. So then after that, my parents had moved back to Canada by this time, and my father, they were looking to move back because now my younger sister had kids. They want to be near their grandchildren. And in getting their visa, they found my dad had something on his lung. Turns out it was lung cancer. So at that time, I quit my career and I waitressed for a while because it gave me more flexibility to be able to go and be with my parents and stuff. But after dad passed, I ended up enrolling in aesthetic school. So I became an esthetician, which is, beauty and stuff, totally different from what I was doing before. And I worked in salons where people would come, and hopefully they'd want to have, I was also a manicurist just to make sure I pick up enough money, which I didn't make a whole lot, but I was somehow managing. And I did that for quite a while. And then, as I said, by the time I was married, let's see, when I was I was working at a salon, yeah. When I met my husband and got married, I was working at a salon doing aesthetics. And then after I had my oldest, going back there part-time was a challenge because people were using my room and leaving a mess. And when you do aesthetics, you want everything to be hygienic, and I had problems with that. So I left there and I opened a little shop in the back of my house. So I was like a home, small business owner, I guess I would say, and did that until I moved here, which is 2001. So yeah, Sheila was born in 80. I started in 89, from 89 to 2001. I worked part-time in my salon. And then somewhere around there, during that time, I went back to college because I had taken a few classes before. I had like 29 credits to my name. And one of my customers talked me into going to school to become a teacher because she felt I had what I would make a good teacher. So anyways, with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, I went back to school. It was crazy, but I did it. and I graduated in 95. And instead of going to work full time, which was the plan, I ended up becoming a homeschooling mom for 6 years because my oldest, Sheila, was in first grade going into second grade, and things didn't work well at school. She taught herself how to read at 3. So in first grade, she was reading chapter books for middle school level in first grade. That didn't go well. And so it was easier to just bring them home and do homeschooling. But I was working I was teaching one class a semester at Springfield College, ESL. So that kept my sanity to get out of the house once in a while, not just have kids. So then after they went to public school, 6 years after we started the homeschooling, they went to school, and then I became a teacher. At first, I worked in a couple years in private schools, and then I got into public school teaching. And like I said, I did 11 years in public schools, 1 in French. One French was private school, and 1 was in a public school. And then the rest of my public school was all ESL. And I had some very challenging situations near the end of my career. It really did a number on my, believing in myself a little bit and my abilities, because I had horrible principal. Anyways, whatever. So that ended like that. And now, after I retired, I did 1.5 years after public school. I did 1.5 years of adult ESL. And then in January of 2017, I totally left that and started my current adventure. So here I am, and what I'm doing in trying to do, when I first started, I had no clue how any of this would develop. I just figured I'll get started and we'll see where it goes. And so I was already at that point, I was an ordained minister in the International Metaphysical Ministry. And I took on, and I don't even remember, I think Wholeness Energetics, I was finished with that certification before I started my business. Essence of Angels, I was done with those certifications. But after I began to try to do things online and everything, I became an Akashic Records practitioner. I got that certification as well. And I was starting, at some point I started to do Facebook Lives, and they were more in line with that. All the while, however, I had joined Asante Organics. It's been 4 years. So I joined in January of 2015 as a customer, pretty much. I tried to talk to people, but, it was a fiasco talking to your friends and family and all that. That didn't go anywhere. And so now here I am. I'm in this new thing that I do. I have a presence online. I do have, a little bit of a following for my astrology, numerology people. And so I had things kind of all muddled. And so right now I've been trying to clean things up and streamline my Facebook pages and all. So as of Sunday was the first time that I actually did my Sunday morning message in this one Facebook page that I call Energy, Stars, and Numbers. Everything that relates to the spiritual messages and all that is all in that one Facebook page now, Energy, Stars, and Numbers. Whereas before I had on my business page, I would do my Sunday morning, I would do my Wednesday, I do a 3-card reading on Wednesday. Those I did on there. And now it's all in Energy, Stars, and Numbers. So that's a lot better. I've been trying to rename my business page, and Facebook declined to let me do it. And I did you could appeal it. So I sent an appeal, but I don't know what's going to happen. But what it is my profile and my business page are both France Mouton Hetty. And I tell them apart by the banner. I have a beautiful dolphin on my profile, but on the business page, it's irises. And so now I want to have my business page be more with my organic lifestyle page, which currently I have a page, a group that's called Steps to Self-Wellness. And I want to close that one down and have everything in that realm to be in my business page. That's the goal. Don't know how it's going to happen because, I haven't heard back from Facebook on my appeal yet. Although somebody told me that there's a way that you can combine two pages. Does anybody know about that? She says that I have to try. I didn't have a chance to track that information down, but I guess you can like merge two pages. I don't know if it matters what kind of pages they are, but somehow or other, I need to change that. And it's in the works, but it's not a done deal yet.
I would try Google it.
Yeah, I could try to do that, but I'm kind of waiting to see if Facebook is going to say, okay, yes, you can name this way. Because what happened is, I wanted my new name and then have France Mouton Hetty at the end. And I put it in parentheses, France Mouton Hetty, and, typing when I was putting in the name I wanted. And then it wouldn't let me go through. It says, you're not allowed to, to use this kind of a name. We recommend that you just with the name, without, the new name I wanted, and not use France Mouton Hetty. So that's what I did. I submitted it the way they recommended, and they denied it. I thought, well, that's kind of crazy. You suggested this, So, but I haven't heard back yet. So I don't know. We'll see. You just gotta take everything with a chuckle, I think.
Well, the only restriction that I'm aware of on renaming a page is that if there's a limit on how many followers before, and after that they won't let you rename it.
If they have a limit to what? How many people?
A limit on the number of followers, past which you can't rename. But I haven't looked at that in a long time.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have? Do you know?
I have, like on that page, I forget, maybe like 500-600.
Yeah. Okay. I would have thought it was a higher number. Well,
yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's a good question. I'll help you look into that too if you need.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'll see what's going on with that, because I do want to have that cleaned up.
But let me back you up for just a moment. You lost me with the group Steps to Self-Wellness. You want that group? What do you want to do with that group?
Shut it down.
Okay.
That's the content I want to bring in my business page.
But do you have members in the group?
Yeah.
So,
but it's not that many. Like under 100.
So you're going to move those members into a different group?
Well, I'm hoping that if Facebook allows me to rename my business group, what I would go do I would connect with the people that are in the Steps to Self-Wellness, and I would say, please join, the other page, because I'm closing this one down.
Well, we're confusing pages. We're confusing pages and groups.
Well, I call them a group, but I don't know if it's a group or a page. I used to call everything a page because to me it's all a page, but then one's a profile. So now I call profile a profile.
Yeah.
I think I don't know how I set it up, but I have the energy as a number, and I have Steps to Self-Wellness. So I have really 4 things, and it's one too many. So I'm trying to cut one out and just have, I've got now everything, all the, spirit and mind messaging in one now. That's my ESN number, Energy Stars and Number page. And now I want to I guess they're probably pages, because they're public.
Okay.
It's not a closed group.
Okay. If you like, pick a time, make an appointment with me. Let's do a screen share and let's go look at what's there. because I'm getting confused, and I may be able to help you. I may not. I don't know.
This is why I want to do it, because I've been confusing everybody. So it's time
Okay.
to.
Well, let's.
Get it cleaned up.
I think doing a screen share with the big group here is probably not the right time or best way to do it.
Plus, I'm on my iPad. It doesn't work on my iPad.
Right. So let's take a look
I'll
at
have
what
to do
you've got.
another time. Yeah. Okay.
And
That's
maybe-
what I want to try to just clean that all up.
yeah, maybe I can help you bring some clarity to what you actually have there and what's best to do with it. I don't know. I'm not sure I can help.
Let's see.
Sometimes when people end up with get multiple pages and groups and things going, it's like really hard to decipher what's really going on.
Yeah. I do, however, have a closed group because that's my paid membership.
Right.
That is I call that Starwise Insights. And that's where people who pay money monthly.
What's it called?
Starwise Insights. I'll show you the. See,
Okay.
it looks like this. Starwise Insights.
Okay. Oh, I wrote it down.
So that's a paid membership. Yeah.
So that's awesome. You got a paid membership.
Yeah, but it doesn't have too many members. I want to grow that.
Well,
one of the things I want to do.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, in the great scheme of building businesses online, in fact, one of the people that I've been really spending a lot of time with recently is Brendan Burchard and his Experts Academy and his whole how he puts these things together. But one of the major components of online businesses is having paid groups, and very few people do. I mean, that's a really awesome thing that you even have the group started. Doesn't matter if you only got one person in it. Doesn't matter.
I started it in January of 18, so it's over a year old now.
Okay.
I started it at $8, my initial thing. Then I bumped it up to 10, and I just now am bumped it to 15 a month. But I don't have very many people, so it needs to grow.
Okay. Well, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, yeah.
So France.
Yes.
Where are we going with all of this? I love your energy. I know. Can I? I've got so many notes. I wanted to go back. You've exhausted me.
All right.
Has anyone else been able to keep up? Anyone?
No.
Remember, everyone's muted, so you can talk all you want. I can't hear anything if you don't unmute yourself. You said you were a one-legged breech birth.
Yeah.
You have two legs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
most babies come out with their head first.
yeah,
Right? Breech birth is when your legs come out first.
right.
But I folded one leg back, and only one leg was coming out.
Okay,
So it was not pretty. I was doing gymnastics, I guess.
okay.
And somehow in there, I messed up my neck.
Wow.
So,
I mean, that's a pretty phenomenal story that you were given 6 months to live.
yeah. Yep.
And here you are.
Yep.
And if my arithmetic is correct, it's about 69 years later.
Well, I'm 68. So,
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's about 69.
so it's about, because I was born in November of 1950. And so, yeah.
So where are we going with all this? What's the future look like?
The future is that my goal is to get women to find what is it that after they're done raising their kids and all that, you go through those years where you're dedicated to the family.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you're coming and you're saying, who am I? What am I supposed to do? I don't know. We don't even know ourselves anymore because we've done things or whatever. So I want to help women at that point to help figure things out by doing astronumerology sessions that would, show them who they are, because the chart will show information. And then from that, they can just now decide what is it that, makes sense for them to do, and make decisions, better decisions on what they want to do. So those things that I named all these things that I have. I can go into Akashic Records, or wholeness energetics is for people who are not really big on the woo-woo stuff and they don't want to go into the stars and the Akashic Records. So we then dialogue, and it's a dialogue where you use muscle testing to just verify that when you're answering a question, what we want to do is we're dialoguing with the subconscious instead of the conscious mind. And so anyways, that's called wholeness energetics, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm familiar with muscle testing.
Yeah. So anyways, these are the things that I would like to be able to help primarily women, because most men don't get into this. So, and then somehow men don't have that same, I don't feel that they have the same, they don't come against that wall. Once the kids are moved out of the house, all of a sudden the woman is like, okay, I've been, carpooling or doing this or that for all these years, and now they're all gone, and what do I do? They don't want to just keep cleaning the house. So they want to know how, so I want them to get in touch with their soul and find out what is it that their soul is, what feeds their soul, what nourishes their soul. Get to that. And then, help people just get themselves started on that path. So that's what my whole spiritual side is intended to do. The physical side is intended to get people to get healthy. And right now, I've been doing a week ago, yesterday, I completed the 28-day evolution. For those of you who, is everybody here in Asante Organics? I don't even know. Mm-hmm. No, some people are, yay. So I completed the 28-day evolution program a week ago. So now I'm 5 weeks into it, and I have released 13 pounds, which is more than halfway, because my goal was to get down 25 pounds by the time I do a recital in June.
So how much are you done now?
13.
Awesome.
So that's pretty good, because I still have,
Way to go, France.
I have, you're hearing now. He's got noise on, he's got audio, good.
Yeah, he says
my computer keeps going in and out for some reason. Audio does.
So that's, currently I'm very optimistic about where that's going, because I feel great. I don't crave the carbs and things that I shouldn't eat. I'm not craving them, and that's a beautiful feeling. And I know my body's being healthy because everything is toxic free and organic, and I'm alkalizing, and so I'm improving my everything, it's like great. So very good. I'm trusting that some women are going to want to join at some point and, get on with Asante Organics through my experience. That's what I hope. So my body transformation is, and also I'm in a group, I have some other Asante ladies. We are in a group called Self-Care for Inspiring Women, and we are co-leaders in there. And what we do is we bring in messages of, to support women really in what I believe in body, mind, and spirit. So there's a lot of inspirational messages in there, and, reminding people, what are you doing for yourself, whatever. And we're now putting in some messaging for Asante products. We have a Toxic Free Tuesday. That's the day that we, discuss something with Asante. And so within that, in the last year, we tried some things. I suggested that we should do a 5-day challenge, and it was called a home detox challenge. And so for 5 days, I gave what I did is I cut up. All right, let me back up. In 2016, I took a course on it was called Speaker School for Women, something like that, on how to become a public speaker, like the business aspect of it, not practicing speaking. Okay. And what she had us do, we had to figure out our one talk to give. So the talk that I was doing was giving ways to detox your house. And I started off by explaining all the challenges with how all the toxins, all that they cause, all the increased. I got information from the Asantic website on that. But anyways, at first giving the reason why we want to do this. And then the way my talk went is I picked one room in a house I took that talk, which was a 1-hour presentation I did like at the library or something, split it up into 5 daily messages for the challenge that we did within the group. So one day it's in the kitchen. What kind of things can you do to detox your kitchen? Then the bathroom, then the laundry and outside kind of thing. And we got a lot of people. We had over 100 people join and, to learn. And a few people expressed interest in joining Asante, but it fizzled out after a while. They did not continue to do that. We did another one last August, September about a physical body detox. We did a 30-day one or 28-day or whatever. And we were doing things, everybody was finding their own thing for what kind of exercising is good for you and all that. Finding a way to, we'd start with saying, okay, we start with drinking water, then we do this and do that. We'd give little information on how to do different things. And then, of course, introducing the products with the greens and the meal replacements or whatever. And not too many people went for it. What we did alongside of that is we did a book study during the 28 days of the book, The Magic. I don't know if any of you have read it, but it's by
Rhonda Byrne.
Rhonda Byrne, and it's all about gratitude. So there's 28 daily things of gratitude. So we covered that. That was very powerful, and people liked that. But as far as that helping us with selling Asante, it really didn't. So we tried that last year, but that failed. So those are the things
that program, the 28-day program with Rhonda Byrne. In fact, that's one that I did a couple of years ago. I have all the videos from it, but I would think that would help you get people into your coaching program.
Well,
maybe you didn't have the coaching program then.
Yeah, I have not been pitching that a lot. I was with that. That's the group where we're working together at trying to build up our Asante Organics business. So we had successes in different areas, but not what we were looking to do. We were trying to get people to get into Asante, and that didn't work. So
why do you suppose the 5-day home detox program fizzled out after a while? I mean, that sounds like a really powerful program to me.
Well, we ran it for 5 days.
Yeah.
And in those 5 days, they were 5 consecutive days, so that was pretty challenging. Because I did all 5. I did all the 5 daily Facebook Lives. And people woke up to the fact, because part of it, like one day I gave homework, I'm the teacher. So I would say, okay, for homework, you have to go watch 10 Americans. I'm sure you've seen that movie, right? And then they would like, oh my goodness, that really opens up your eyes to, the state of affairs with toxins, and so on and so forth. And another day we sent them to try to look up EWG, that website where you can look up your products and what's in them and the toxicity level, stuff like that. So people's eyes were opened quite, people realized things they didn't know before from that. So that did bring awareness. It didn't translate into sales.
So they didn't buy anything. So
No.
buying products to clean your home, the detox wasn't part of the program. It wasn't a mandatory part.
No, it was not. It was just an informational 5 days. And so, this is where, you try things, you don't know how it's going to go. People were very, brought a lot of awareness, which is something that I'm happy to do because I feel it's important that people know. So many people have no clue still to this day, I mean, you see on TV when there's Roundup in the Cheerios, it's like, okay, people, time to wake up here. But people are just not, they probably don't even see it. It's not part of their, like when you've that part of your brain that sorts things out, like your reticular activator system, it's called.
Yeah.
Right? It's not checking out on things with toxins with a lot of people yet.
Yeah. No.
Someone gets sick, once they get sick, well, then, they're just trying to get solutions, but not necessarily. So for me, it's like, I have all these things that I've been doing, but I need to figure out how to make them work, bringing me business. Oh, and the last thing I've done recently, you probably, if you've been on my pages, I am a co-author of a book, and it's coming out. I'm not sure when it'll come out, but it's in pre-sales right now. If anybody would like it, let me know. I'll send you the link.
I'm sorry. I missed that last thing you said. I was reaching around to find the book, Betty. We'll answer in a minute, and my earbuds fell out.
No, what I said is the thing that recently I'm a co-author of a book called Just Say Yes, ! And it's 14 entrepreneurs doing what they love unapologetically. This is a big word to try to say. Unapologetically. 8 syllables. It's a big word. But anyways, 14 of us are each doing our own chapter, telling our stories. And it's supposed to be, to inspire people to get into entrepreneurship, to realize if they haven't done it yet, then they can see people's paths. But if you're in it, it's also good to see that, there's 14 different stories that are come out there, so we're going to be able to read about all kinds of things because we discuss, obstacles that we've had to overcome, or this, that, and the other thing. So I'm very happy with that project. That I'm hoping will help me find places to speak, whether it's online or, in person. I don't know, what do you call those podcasts and things like that? Maybe I have to figure out how to connect with some of these things to promote this whole thing, and in the process get myself more known and trusted. The old, that people need to know, trust, and like you. Is that how it goes? Something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, whatever. But that book project is ongoing. The pre-launch, it lasts until the end of April, like 27th, I think maybe it stops. I'm not sure. And so what I've done is I've launched, I put out the information on the day we were launching, and that's the day that Facebook crashed. So I just love how the universe has a good sense of humor. But anyways, what I was doing is I was giving an offer that people who bought, and see, I had something must have told me, because I was trying to say, people say, okay, see what you can have in the first 24 hours of your launch. Well, I thought, I don't know when people are going to hear about it. So I said by midnight of the next day. So that was more than 24 hours, right? So I said, if you buy your book within that time frame, you're going to be put in a raffle for one of my card readings, a $25 card reading. So I sold some books and got the raffle. As a matter of fact, I did the reading this afternoon for that, for the winner. And so that was one thing. And then I'm giving for people who are buying it during the pre-launch. I'm also giving them the link to a class that I did last year that's called Creating Good Boundaries. And so that's worth more than the price of the book. So it's like, okay, you know, I'm trying to follow how people do. They give all these different bonuses and things. So that's what I did. And so I'm in pre-sales. I would like to sell 50 by the end of the pre-launch. We'll see what happens. I'm up to 27 right now.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah.
impressive. That's impressive. You're making progress.
I'm making progress. And not only that, I'm an international author because one of my people who purchased is in Austria. That makes me an international author.
So is the book on, is it out on Amazon or where is it at?
It's self-published. It's, you know, I forget who it is, so it's not on Amazon, but it's a self-published thing. And usually collaborative books, the editor's name is on the book, you know, and whoever contributes. In this project, each of us has a book with our name and our bio on the back cover. The inside content is the same, but my book says France Mouton Hetty as the author. So it's kind of fun.
Okay. Well, you know, between you and the editor and et cetera, there may be some legal ramifications, but it's absolutely trivial to take the book at this point and put it up on Amazon and make it a paperback for sale or put it on Kindle. Very simple.
Only the editor can do that. None of the other contributors.
But maybe that's just a legal requirement of a contract you've signed or something, right? Well, anyhow, I would think that if I were you, I would look into that. But
yeah, I could try to find out. But I did read that, you know, the rights to the content is only given to the person who coordinates.
Oh yeah. They have some. Yeah, there's something there about the rights.
Yeah. But you know what? I figured that's okay. I didn't care because it's not so much that I think if I put it on Amazon, it's like going to be there with the other how many billion books they have. So it's more of having it for me if I do something and I have books, you know.
Well, it's not about making money. The book is not about money. It's about your reputation, and you know, being up on Amazon, being up on Kindle really boosts your reputation.
Yeah.
And
well, I'll be a self-published author, and that's step one. Now, as far as later, I could do something else and then put it on Amazon, but because I wasn't, you know, writing a book is something that I've been wanting to do for years, and I never got started because it just seemed too overwhelming. And when I saw this opportunity to have it done this way, I thought, oh, wow, that makes it, that's very easy. You know, they tell you, okay, you got to do this, you do that. Then the next step, you do this, you do that. Okay. And then eventually in the end, there'll be a book, you know, a physical book that I'll have in my hot little hands. So
what are you primarily doing to it? I'll tell you, your energy overwhelms me a little bit. And I mean that in a good way, because I have to go back and reread my notes to find all the things that I was thinking about. But looking into the future, where's your focus on what piece of this business you want to build first, and how are you building it? Do you have a handle on where you're going?
Well, I don't think that I need to have just one to build first, because the concept is that, like Asante Organics is something that we're billing it as something that you can do around your passions or around your whatever your commitments are. Okay, so Asante, if that's true, that I can just do Asante part-time, the other stuff is my business. I don't go to a job, I just do this stuff.
Your business is bringing women into this environment where they're struggling to know who they are and what they want to become. And part of that is the physical, Asante. Part of it is the spiritual. That's your really primary focus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's working with, having people get so that, they're trying to connect with who it is that they are, what it is that they want to be, what contribution are they here to make? Because at this stage of our life, that's what we want. It's like, okay, you want to feel like you're making a contribution in this world. Do I want to help, the Going Green movement? Do I want to, whatever? People have all these different things, right? So I want to help people find that. And then hopefully, as they are finding their way, they realize that their body could use, some upgrading. So that's what I would,
So in order for them, but you have to find the women that are looking for that sort of thing or resonate with it. So how are you doing that?
With great difficulty at the moment.
Yeah.
That's what I need help with.
Yeah. That's what, yeah. So are you primarily?
Well, I started a newsletter 2 months ago. That's my other thing, when I took Diane's course, I joined a Weber and I put together a newsletter. And so, because for those of you who are not in her course, she's saying that, we need to have a sales environment somewhere where we can have people, if people sign up for your newsletter, they've signed up and you can say things and whatever. In there, so far, I've talked about my book in there. I've talked about, I'm going to be talking about different things in there. And so I will be approaching, right now I'm talking about, okay, it's spring. When it's springtime, see, I was an esthetician. And when you're an esthetician, you're taught that there are 2 times a year when you want to do a detox, and it's spring and fall, when you're doing those big changes of season, because your skin takes a beating in the winter from the elements and in the summer from the sun. So when you're at the end of that, that's the time to do a facial and whatever. Same thing for the internal body. So I'm talking right now, I'm sharing about my experience with the 28-day evolution with saying, hey, who wants to join me in a spring detox? Or like me, in a body makeover, because I'm still working on mine. It's not just spring. I'm continuing,
So how are you bringing people to the newsletter?
I'm getting people to tell me if they want to be in my newsletter, to send me their email. And
right.
Yeah.
But all right. So do you have a capture page, or do you have a giveaway or something you're giving people to get them to sign up?
No, what I do, when I first started it, I talked to people during my Facebook Lives. I'd say, hey, if you're not on my newsletter and you'd like to, private message me your email address, I'll add you. That kind of thing. Okay. I think I'm around 90 people on there now.
Awesome.
I have people who ask to do it, and then they don't do the confirmation part.
Right. Yeah, the confirmation is most of us, when we're first starting off, turn off double confirmation completely for that reason.
They have it, and I don't know how to get them to shut it off.
with an email. You must message, you have to send a message to their support at aweber.com. And do not write down support at aweber.com. That's not necessarily the correct email address, but you have to send it to support and ask them to turn off confirmation for that list, period. And they will push back and tell you they don't recommend that, but they will do it. Okay.
So,
And I did it the other day in the AWeber chat. She did it right then.
Okay.
in
Yeah.
the
It was real easy. Just go to the
I
chat.
could open a chat and ask them, like, to
That's
Okay.
what I did.
Good.
Took a couple minutes.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll try
Yeah.
that.
I'm glad that worked for you. Usually,
Yeah.
Oh, well.
there are different customer service reps in AWeber, and some of them are more responsive than others. So
Yeah.
that's great. That's great that didn't work. So yeah, try the chat then.
Yeah,
But that's how you have to do it.
So,
Now, what I'm suggesting to you is
Yeah.
that you might want to develop a giveaway, something, I don't know, 3-page or it could be a small ebook, it could be a PDF, it could be any number of things that
Yeah.
you advertise as a giveaway, and you give me your email address and this is what you're going to get. So, and here's the reason. A lot of people don't want to sign up for yet another damn newsletter. They're tired of emails, but you got to give them something of a little more value up front. I'm gonna give you what Brendan Burchard basically recommends as part of his Experts Academy training. Is you put up a capture page with a nice giveaway of some sort, and you bring them into a separate list and feed them 2 or 3 videos or several things of value before you drop them into the email. So to the newsletter list. So you build a relationship with them and get to know them, let them get to know you, and then you drop them into your email list. But your newsletter list. So, but it starts with something else. So, a short ebook, a video
Yeah.
series, a webinar.
yeah, I wrote an ebook, sort of. It's I have to just kind of go over it. I signed up for your course on the ebook, whatever.
Mhm.
So I've got one kind of, but there's just, there aren't enough hours in the day sometimes.
Yeah, no, I know. No, look, you're here. There's 2 things. First off, and we need to, we're at the top of the hour, so we're going to need to wrap this up here. You're absolutely on the right path, and there's no question that you can turn this into $1 million business. There's absolutely no question, but it will take time. So yeah, there's only 24 hours in a day, so you have to use 16 of them or something, and 10 of them or whatever, and move on. But building that email list, and then what I see for you, what I see going forward is I see webinars and courses. If you taught a course in numerology and how to use it I don't have the foggiest idea. This is an area that I don't know anything about. So
Yeah.
put a course together, put a 3-module course together, and teach it. So I see a lot of things that you can do to really begin to build the business and help yourself along. But I think you're really on the right track with the newsletter. Diane's absolutely right, but I think there's a step before you sign them up to the newsletter that may help you get more people onto the newsletter. Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay, and that step requires a capture page and a giveaway. Maybe the ebook is the giveaway.
Yeah.
Up to you. Just an idea. Hey, let's wrap up for tonight. Does anybody else have any comments or suggestions? And France, do you have any comments or questions you'd like to toss out, or have we helped you?
Well, I'd love to. I know I just been basically sharing how I am in the process of trying to get things organized, and but I don't know if anybody has any suggestions on other things.
You've got a lot of moving parts. We need a hammer and a nail, and we need to nail a couple of them down, right? Yeah, you've got
Okay.
tremendous energy. So you're basically, you've got a lot of different things going on. I would suggest that you narrow down your focus to one or two things to really get focused on and to build, initially to build. And that email list is a great place for you to be starting too.
Yeah.
Now, contrary, we're over.
Anita, something.
Huh?
Anita's got her finger up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have anything to appeal women or people that are not into card reading or tarot or horoscope?
Do I have anything to appeal to them? I had started to do these simple contemplation things, and then I've halted that for right now. Just on my, I was doing that on my profile page, just to give a little something and have giveaways. Yeah, there's the magic. Yeah.
for those of you who are asking, I'm just so you can see that's the book she was talking about. It's a really great book, absolutely an incredible book. And
It is. It's amazing.
do the 28 days. Do one chapter a day for 28 days. It'll change your life.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So anyways, Anita, that's what I had been started to do, just give, but that was more, that's when I was thinking with MLSP a little bit and thinking of for business building kind of messaging a lot, although they're okay for just in general, life in general, just
Well, I think
those had nothing to do with astrology, numerology. So what,
and
Mark?
I was just thinking, I think Anita brought that up because astrology and numerology is something that some people may, I mean, you embrace it and you do it, but there's some people that may not want to embrace that.
Sure.
For other reasons, for various reasons. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
So I think what she was meaning by saying that is that you may be missing maybe quite a few people who don't really want to go down that exact route. Let's just put it that way.
Well, that's okay. That's they're not in their target. That's the whole purpose of defining your target market. I mean, those people are not in her target market, and that's just fine.
They're going to go to somebody else, is what it is. People who are going to be attracting, that I'm going to attract are people who are, more in that vein, obviously, and that's okay.
I think you ought to begin to put a course together and begin to do webinars and train people up on what you have to offer. I think you've got an enormously profitable business sitting in front of you, and it's an area that not very many people are working in.
Like with numerology, I can offer a service of, you have a name for something, I can. There's a certain way through numerology that you can tell if it's a what's it called? It's called if the numbers, because some numbers are like positive impact and some are not. And so by looking to see what your name reduces to, whether it's your birth name or the name, well, you don't do it for birth name. You do it for the name that you're using. Like the reason I'm going by France Mouton Hetty is because France Hetty is not, that doesn't resonate to a good, what's the word they use? I can't think of it. Hold on. Is this right here? No. But like a favorable name, number, okay? Fortunate. Maybe it's called Fortunate. I don't remember. So, but then by using my maiden name as part of my name, now all of a sudden this is a good name. Some people they change just a couple letters in their name, just alter the spelling or something. This is something that can be so important because it doesn't go only for your name. It can go for your business name, for your book title or whatever. And yes, when I got the book title was chosen before I joined, and I did the numerology, and it's good. So it's like, all right, I can join this project. This is how I roll, you know? But that's a service I can offer, but I haven't started to really put that out yet. I got lots of ways that I could do things.
You need at most right now, at most 3 things.
Yeah.
Numerology can be one of them. I mean, you've got something really great going here. Awesome.
Yeah, you know what you do. You know what you're wanting to do. You just have to hone it a little bit. But you're a long way there compared to many people, I think.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. With I'm gonna keep on trucking, get it going, and hopefully. But I do also want to work with the Asante, because that whole area is something that I find very important, for people's health. I want to be able to, it would be nice to make money off of it besides just sharing the information, so it's got to be that I at some point get there. So
I think you're right, but I see that as a back end. I see that as a back end to the front end. The front end is identifying this class of women who want to do something more with their life, and then easing them into all the steps that it's going to take, including the health step.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So anyhow, I mean, I'm willing to sit here and keep going, but I'm always also sensitive to people's time, and we're past an hour and 10 minutes now. So I find it fascinating. So, I mean, if anyone wants to or needs to drop off, just go ahead. But I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I think we're good. I think it was awesome, France. I think you did an amazing job. I've got several pages of notes. I'm going to look back through them, but do take me up. I mean, pick a time, find a time. Tomorrow is not going to be a particularly good day for me. Maybe Friday, Saturday. Am I going to be here Saturday? Anyhow, later in the week, maybe we can get on and do a screen share and look at your Facebook.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, thank you everybody for listening.
Well,
and if anything comes to mind, let me know. Feel free.
Well, I think it's fascinating. Where do we find this book, by the way? You might put a link in the group. Tell us where to find this book.
All right, I'll post the cap. I have a page for that. I'll
Okay.
send you that. They created that, so I'll put it in the group.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? No? Are we all quiet? Going once? Going twice? All right, I'm going to stop the recording.